impala up here just to remind me that it's wild. Sometimes forget how special kasane is. The only problem is that the sun is behind it, just before it meets the Zambezi River and then flows over Victoria Falls. Back it up. Staying 36 kilometers around town and taking 36 pictures. Half blinded, running into the sun along the main road. I'm a wildlife photographer by trade, and for that reason Botswana is the perfect location for me to be based. But it does affect my running. It's not only because of the dangerous animals that live here, but also there's very limited road networks up here in Kasane where I live. So to try and do a 36-kilometer run definitely is challenging. When I knew that I had to do a 36-kilometer run, I instantly thought about film photography. For those of you wondering what the hell I'm talking about, before the days of digital photography, there was film photography. On every roll of film, just like this one, you can only take 36 photographs. So it's past already. I was meant to have left by now, but yeah, just always so much more prepping when you're trying to do filming as well. So I heard a lot of dogs barking at about 4:30 this morning, which normally highlights that there is something, either an elephant or maybe a hyena walking around town. Come on then. Okay, finally time to head off. It's bright enough that I feel comfortable running on the streets here. I do have to be careful in some areas, certainly for elephants and buffalo, but yeah, let's get going before it gets too hot. So my house is probably the furthest you can possibly be away from the main street of Kasane. So my idea is to get down there as soon as possible while the light's still good, and then take it from there. Got a few ideas of shots I want to take, but I'm leaving most of it up to whatever we see. We also have some impala up here just to remind me that it's wild, and this is the road that I have to be the most careful on. This is where elephants cross into town. There's this beautiful baobab tree here, and the sun's just starting to rise. So I thought maybe I can get the other side of it and shoot it against the sunrise. So I've got such unique silhouettes, I think it could work quite well. Because the problem is now I've got all trees around me, so it kind of blocks the silhouette. No, it's not doing it for me. And to be honest, there are some better and bigger baobab trees in town, so I think I'm going to not waste a shot. You can actually see where the elephants have pulled part of the bark off the tree, especially in this section here. I sometimes forget how special Kasane is and how lucky we are to call elephants residents of this place. As you can already see though, I'm sweating. It's very humid today, which might mean it's going to rain later. At the moment it's clear skies, but it can change very quickly here in Botswana. But yeah, let me get out of the bush before I get eaten by something, and let's see what else we can find. That was the last person who thought it was safe from lions in this area. We're currently in Botswana's rainy season. While it doesn't rain every day, it has been this week. So I'm also looking out for things like puddles. And I've just seen a really cool one that might have a nice reflection. With a film camera, you've got nothing to look back at. One of the challenges that I'm going to face today. There's some cool like road signs the other side of this puddle, and hopefully a person walking past or even a car. Okay, I've been waiting here a little while by this puddle. There's a few cars that have gone past and I've had a look at the shot, but I'm at that phase in the beginning of this run where I really don't want to waste shots. 36 isn't a lot, But if I continue this way, I'm going to be back with no shots. So I do actually need to take something at some stage. So I loaded colour film in today because I thought there's enough interest colour-wise around town that might look good. Traditionally, I think people often think about black and white film more than colour. And maybe I'll do another video on that. So send me a message if you think I should try that. So I've seen an old office chair sitting outside a closed shop, and it's beautiful bright yellow. It's Mascom, one of the phone providers. So I thought maybe a shot framed something like that. So you've got the chair centrally or just off center, and then a pretty much symmetrical each side. Let's see what it looks like through the camera. So that is the first shot of the roll. I'm not wowed by it. It's okay, there's nice symmetry there, there's nice color, but I feel it would probably be better with a person in it. But for now, I think that's a good first shot. This is where local knowledge is quite useful. So I remembered that there's a warthog that likes to sleep in that hole, and so that would make a perfect shot. I'm not going to get too close, I'm going to prep my image before I do. So I know it's early days, but I think that's such a cool shot that I actually took 2 photographs. So I know that's slightly cheating, but as I say, one of the challenges with film photography is you don't know how the images come out. So you kind of hope you got the settings right, you hope you got the lighting right, but that warthog is quite deep in a hole, and I felt that if I didn't take a second shot at different exposure, I might get back and find it's a bit of a dud shot. Once you take that first photograph, I think it gets you over the edge of thinking that every shot has to be perfect. And so hopefully the image will start flowing now. So as I said at the baobab tree, there is a few more interesting baobab trees in town. So I'm not far away from the police station, where there's a very unique story. I'm joined by the baboons. They're also going to the police station. So this tree has had multiple uses over the years, but when Kasane was a much smaller place, it used to be used as a prison. So inmates were housed here. Later on it also became the post office. So what an incredible tree. It's perfectly hollow in between, and a perfect place to store things. Maybe not prisoners. My challenge though is, how do I take a picture of it while still doing it any justice? I don't know. I have an idea. Instead of trying to photograph the whole tree, what about little sections where people have graffitied into it or carved into it over the years? So I think I've settled on this. There's some interesting carving. Someone signed it, and it was in 1963, so I think that's quite interesting. I'm going to do a close-up of this with some of the textures of the tree. My only problem is it's very dark. But again, this is the frustration with film photography, is you can't really see what you're doing. And in an ideal world, I would have brought a light meter with me to measure the light, but it's just another thing to carry, unfortunately. I think you can agree that was a pretty incredible tree, where actually the current police station is built around it. I just would like to take about 10 different shots of it just to try and get some variety. But this is also part of the reason why I've come out with a film camera. I don't want to just take 1,000 images and not think about them. I really have to think about my shots like this. Here's a warthog coming out of his burrow. Hello, mate. So I am 2.8 kilometers in, and I've taken 4 images. So I think so far it's going pretty well. I know that it's going to peak early because the light's better. But there's these beautiful bougainvillea trees, which are not native, but they are beautiful. And I don't know what to do with them. I love the color, and I've got color film, so it seems stupid not to do something with them. Okay, I think I've got an idea. So there's this bougainvillea tree here with some tires abandoned there. But I know I'm going to get shouted at for this because this is a army house. Okay, I took it. I don't like feeling rushed. And I felt rushed there, and I don't know if I got the right composition. I think it had potential, and maybe a close-up of some of the leaves on the floor with the tires. This is the fun thing about film photography, is each roll of film is quite expensive, and it's hard to get it developed unless you develop it yourself. So it's quite a costly endeavor. You only get 36 shots, and it's more of an experience thing than it is necessarily about the shot. I'm really burning through images quite quickly now, but there's a toilet behind me, or a shared toilet. One belongs to one house, one belongs to the other, and one door is brown, one is blue. That could be a fun shot with the fence as a bit of a leading line, shooting directly through. This is someone's house though, so I do need to be a bit careful. But I think that is probably going to be my, sixth shot? I think I need to do some running. I think I'm getting a little bit caught up with what I think is interesting versus what is necessarily a good shot. Which is fine, it doesn't really matter. This is meant to be a fun exercise, but I'm only 3Ks in and I've taken 6 shots. So if I carry on like this, I'm just going to burn through images. Let's get some kilometers under our belt. Oh, that's a very cute baby baboon, but he's going to run away from me. So this idea kind of came about because I was having a chat to Glenn about the difficulties of running here, like the wildlife. And he said to me, why not look at those issues as not issues, but interest? Because most people would love to go for a run in Botswana. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to look at the interest, trying to find the excitement. And it's surprising how bringing a camera can just change that whole mentality. One of the things I wanted to photograph is maybe some interesting street signs or business signs. So I thought this was pretty cool. There's a lot of people around and I don't like talking in front of people, so let's get the shot. It's quite an easy shot. Simple settings, nothing moving in it. I went f8 and 2/50th of a second. It's not going to win awards, but I think it's kind of cool. And I kind of want to document Kasane's interest more than anything. I know there's not too much up that road, so let's head back down. Ignore that last comment. There is something up that street. There's quite an interesting church I seem to remember. Haven't driven that road in a long time. Let me go and find it. I love the colors here, but it seems like I'm only taking pictures because of color. I think I need to actually look at interesting shots that have color for my next few, rather than just relying on the beauty of color. So I've got to the church. It's a Zionist church. The only problem is that the sun is behind it, which is not ideal. But if I overexpose, it might work. So I think let me take a shot of it. I've come all the way here for it, so I might as well. And I think this is either my 8th or 9th shot. So we're racking up the numbers. I haven't done 5Ks yet. I'm on 4.8Ks. So one of the pluses about film photography, and there's not that many, that's why we've gone digital, but it's got quite a good dynamic range. So what that means is that the darks are not so dark and the lights are not too bright. So you can capture things even into the sun and not either blow out the highlights or make the darks completely black. So I'm hoping this will kind of work for this image. So it's taken me an hour and 1 minute to do the first 5K. It's got to be a record. One thing I haven't done so far is take pictures of people. Now it's partly because the town's been quite quiet. Thankfully it's finally waking up a little bit. But it's also because I find it a little bit awkward and slightly intrusive. Hey there, mate. You okay down there? What I find quite entertaining is I've lived in this town, or village rather, for 3 years, and it's not a big village, but I'm finding myself going down roads I've never been on, simply because I want to see if there's any shots there. So we're racking up a few Ks now. I've done about 2.5 without actually stopping for a picture. Don't know if that's good or bad, but I think I needed to get some running done instead of just photographing. One of the challenges with this run is a lot of the interesting things in town are all in the same spot. So to try and actually do 36 kilometers and get 36 images, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's really beautiful. I'm not going to get too close. There is lots of crocodiles in this river. But yeah, I don't think there's a shot here, but it's nice to come down to the river and just see what's happening. Please excuse all the sweat, but it's rainy season here in Botswana, so the humidity along with the 30-degree heat makes it a little bit challenging. This next shot is a bit different, and bear with me. I really wanted to get something with a reflection, and I was thinking people and signs, but I've seen this puddle and there's a beautiful big tree opposite it, and there's also a lamppost or a telephone line, and I quite like the symmetry of having both of them reflected, but one obviously being dead and used for human use, and one growing and thriving in the water. So I think it kind of works. Let me show you what I mean. So you've got that tree there, which is beautiful, and then you've got this jut of land that breaks it up in two, and then you've got the pole. Let me know in the comments if you think that works. Okay, that was shot number 9, and now I'm covered in mud. Those are what are called velvet mites. They only really come out a few times of the year, normally during those first big rains, but they are absolutely beautiful. They look like rather fat, velvety ticks. So it's so cool to see them, and there are hundreds around here. Very cool. Let's keep going. Though it might be quite exciting for this video, I'm personally hoping that I don't bump into an elephant today. Places along town or through town where they've left open for elephants to be able to walk down to the river. Let's use this elephant corridor and see what we can see down by the river. Obviously being extra cautious, I really don't want to bump into an elephant on foot, or a buffalo, or a lion, or a leopard. Here's the Chobe River. So this section is just before it meets the Zambezi River and then flows over Victoria Falls, no more than about 70 kilometers away. So there's a bushbuck walking down there in the open. Let's see if we can get a closer shot of that bushbuck. Here's a good reminder of how wild this area is. Elephant dung, but it's not too fresh. You can see him peeking at me through these reeds. But I don't think I'm going to try and get any closer. These reeds are way over my head height. I think that's asking for trouble. All right, let's get back to the road and see what else we can find. Some hippo tracks from last night. That's an animal you really don't want to bump into. Hippos are responsible for killing more people in Africa than any other large mammal. One of the problems I am having, which I didn't really think too much about, but I should have, is carrying this camera. It's quite heavy. It's probably about 1 kg, maybe a bit more, but it just is a bit tedious. My arms, I'm not going to lie, are getting a little bit tired holding it. But small problems. Okay, so we are speeding up. That last 5k was 48 minutes. Lightning. Why is there no window this side, but there is a window on the other side? And it wasn't a toilet, so it was obviously a guardhouse that's not being used. But I thought a cool picture could be that window with the Botswana flag. I think that shot was a little bit of a sign of desperation, but I shouldn't be desperate yet. I can just see the light sort of getting a little bit harsh, and we're 11 k's in. That was my 10th shot. How are you? I'm running around the town taking photographs, and I saw you sitting on that box, and I thought it was such a nice photograph with the crates behind. Would you mind if I take a photograph? Okay. You okay? Yes. Sure. Okay, so that gentleman's name was Spencer, and he very kindly accepted for me to take a photograph of him in return for me to send him the image when I finally do develop it. But what a nice guy, and I'm hoping that image will come out nicely. I think it was a very cool pose on those crates. I saw it from a bit of a way off. Very interesting looking guy and very nice gentleman, so I think that was very good. So I had a brief stop, bought myself a ice cold Energade, which I kind of needed. We've done 13.5 kilometers. I've taken 11 photographs. So I'm going to start heading back into the main strip. So I've basically done the whole of the main road of Kasane. Hopefully the markets are now open. Hopefully a lot of the street vendors are around, and we can maybe take a few more pictures of people and some local shops. So I've been out and about for about 3 hours and 20 minutes now. So I'm pretty tired. I've only run 19 kilometers, so I shouldn't be as tired as I am, but it's just so humid and so hot. So I think I'm definitely going to split the run into two. I'm going to try and finish off and do at least 25-26 kilometers now and leave myself only 10 in the afternoon. As a wildlife photographer, this is not my area of expertise, but it's been fun nonetheless. The last few shots I haven't done much filming. I tried to get to photograph people in the markets, and I just found it was a bit overwhelming for them if I filmed and photographed, so managed to talk my way into getting 1 or 2 shots, which I'll share with you now. So I just took a photograph of some construction workers. I thought it'd be nice to get them something to eat, because I'm dying and all I'm doing is running around. They are building as well. So I'm gonna get a few Botswana delicacies called magwinyas. They're like a savory donut. Nilima, how are you? Good. Can I get 10 magwinyas, please? Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. say. I got 10 magrinos, one for me and the other 9 they can have. They're cooked in oil just like a donut. Essentially a very stodgy dough, cooked in oil so they go crispy on the outside. They are delicious, but they're not exactly the best to run on because they give you instant indigestion and probably take about 5 years off your life. But I know they'll be appreciated, so let's go and give it back to the guys.
Yeah.
There's some magrinos for you guys. I'm going to take one, you can have the rest. Just to say thank you.
All right.
Cool.
Sure.
You can share it with everyone.
All right.
Sure. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Melema, how are you? I wonder if you wouldn't mind if I took a photograph of you. You look so beautiful today. So what I'm doing is I'm running 36 kilometers around town and taking 36 pictures. So I would love to take your photograph. Is that okay? Ah, thank you, man. All right, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So yeah, I can't show you, but are you always around here? Maybe in like a month's time, once I've got it developed, I'll come and find you. Thank you, man. Have a lovely day. I've just finished a half marathon. It feels like it as well. So I'm slowly heading back home. I want to try and end on about 26 Ks. But yeah, let's see what else we can get along the way. So I think the lesson that I've learned from this morning's activity is not to be shy to take more than one shot of a scene, maybe different angles or different settings, and also not to be shy to just take pictures. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. Obviously for the video I want them to be good, and that's putting a bit of other pressure on, whereas I should just enjoy taking the shots. So I know I can pretty comfortably run a 36-kilometer run. And I think what's getting to me and what I'm struggling with a little bit is having to come up with shots and use my mind as well, other than just trying to zone out. I thought it would work as a distraction, but it's actually making it even harder. It's giving me another thing to do. And then on top of that, I'm having to stop all the time to get the shots, and then trying to find the momentum to get back going again is really difficult. This hill might be the death of me. I've resorted to walking. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please think about giving it a like and subscribing, because we're going to do a lot more videos like this. Back home, definitely too hot to be out running, as you can see by my face and my hair, so we'll try again later. Okay, I'm back out again. I tried to wait as long as I could or leave it as late as I could to cool down, but it's still in the 30s, even though it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, because I've left it a little bit later, I do have to get a move on, try and up the pace between photographs. My plan is to stick around the more suburban area for a few Ks, see what I can find here, see if I can't photograph some people. A few more people would be good, and then slowly head down to town and loop back around. That's the challenge that I found in the first half, was with running you can't really, even though I am doing 36 Ks, you can't really cover enough distance to really see enough things. Hello guys. So these cute little chaps over here are banded monkeys. They like hanging around the lodges because there's always food and safety. So it's the afternoon, and while I didn't rate this tree in the morning, now we've got these incredible clouds above it. So I think I'm going to try a shot. So I think I'm going to do portrait, try and get more of those clouds in the shot, and see if there's a way that I don't get all these trees in the foreground messing it up. I also have a secret weapon in the second half. Jelly tots. Just ran past a very cool barber shop. Unfortunately, the guy that owns it wasn't there. That was a very off-the-cuff shot. Just love the clothes hanging there and the laundromat. Don't know how it's going to come out. I didn't even really stop running to take the shot, so we'll see how that one looks. But a lot of street photography is like that. You see an opportunity and you just have to take it before someone notices you. There's a hornbill up there. It's a trumpeter hornbill, and that's the noise he makes, like a crying baby. So I've just crossed the 30k mark, but I've taken less than 20 images, which is not ideal, but it's part of the challenge. So let's carry on, let's see what we can get. Hopefully a few more images before the 36k comes up. So something I definitely overlooked by waiting till it was cool at 5 o'clock to come out again is everyone that was at work has gone home, and as a result the streets are dead quiet, making it even harder to get shots. How cute are those little warthogs? Thankfully the sun's dipped behind that cloud, making it slightly bearable, but boy has it been hot. I think it's only just now getting below about 30 degrees. So what these baboons are doing is they're eating all the flying ants, which are highly nutritious, and all the cars are hitting them at night, drawn to the light, and so the baboons are coming onto the road just to clear them up. Very clever. Those are marabou storks, and it's given me an idea. They tend to go to the dump site to find any food in the trash. Maybe it's an idea to see if I can't get a shot of them. Unfortunately, the dump site is closed. But I've run along the edge of the fenced area. I've actually come up with what I think is a half decent photograph. So there's a tree, that tree to be precise, that's got a whole lot of rubbish bags all on it. And while it might not be the most aesthetically pleasing or nice image to take, I feel like it's quite a powerful one. I just don't know how to take the picture because the sun's sort of on the wrong side of it. So I'm just going to do a walk around to the other side, see whether it's better from that angle. Who knows if that shot works, but I would have loved the marabou stalks in the background, but unfortunately they flew off in the wrong direction. I think it still has something. So I think, unfortunately, my last image has been a rubbish image. I am sweating. It is far too hot for this. I put a whole bunch of suntan cream on my face because I knew I'd be running into the sun for the second half of this afternoon. But it is now in my eyes. So I'm half blinded, running into the sun along the main road. As I cross over the 33k mark, I can't help but feel a bit dejected. My mission has slightly failed. I have taken just over 20 photographs and the goal was 36 and 36Ks. I know I've got another 3Ks to go, but I've run this road hundreds of times and I know that there isn't too many photo opportunities along it. That is hyena dung. So although the mission didn't go exactly to plan, I have got a plan B. So tomorrow I fly into the Okavango Delta to do a photo safari, and I thought I could take the camera with me to get those last few shots of wildlife. So that's it. 36 kilometers around Kasane with the film camera in just under 6 excruciating hours. So as I run off into the sunset, I just want to thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe.